We off in this place, catching vibes, sit back and we blaze in the sky like I'm out of space.
What's going on, cigar enthusiasts? What's going on, cigar world? This is Jack, the cigar enthusiast, and I got my man, the myth, the legend, my friend, John Hubert with me. But before we go ahead and get started, man, thanks for watching in and tuning in from PCA 2022. I am your host, Jack, the cigar enthusiast. We're going to bring Johnny in just a tad bit later, but we are live from PCA, man.
Yes, we are.
And we have the official sponsor of PCA right here with us, the man, John Hubert. If you're watching on Facebook, don't be the only one that had this amazing content at your fingertips. Go ahead and press the subscribe button, the share button, create a watch party. Man, get it out there. We are dropping some information that has not been released outside of pictures and little reels that is coming from PCA. And we're excited about everything that's going on. If you're watching from YouTube, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, turn the notification bell, and give us a huge thumbs up, man. John, welcome.
So good to be here, man.
Man,
welcome to the booth.
I know.
Welcome to the VIP area.
It was amazing. When I thought about doing a show in Vegas, I said, there's no way in hell I'm going to cancel this show. I'm going to do a show. And sorry about the music. They literally just started 2 seconds.
Literally 2 seconds before we went on the air.
Like 2 seconds.
Bands came in,
so if you can't hear us, let us know. Hit in the comment box and let us know. We are sitting here at PCA with John Hubert. John, how's it feel? Second year as the official sponsor. A lot of great cigars released. Tell the consumers about them and what you think about them.
Well, I got to tell you, it's been a ride because 10 years ago at the 2012 PCA, that was our first show. And it was me and my partner, Mike Conder, in a 10x10 booth with a pop-up screen. And now, 10 years later, I'm sitting with you. A pleasure. Your company, we're going live from PCA 2022, and we're in 1,200 square feet. So
1,200.
Yes, sir. It's been a long 10 years, but it's been really fun.
But it's all worth it at the end, right?
Oh, 100%. I wouldn't do it if it wasn't.
Yeah.
If it stops being fun, I told you that before, there's no point in doing it. But this has been a blast. It's been really good. We've had a great show to this point. The reception of the new products has been fantastic. We got Tim Ozgener back in the mix.
Yes.
That's a huge story for us. We all started off at CAO together.
Yep.
So it's like the band's back together.
So we actually got a little surprise for you later. Speaking of Tim, but we're going to leave that in the backdrops and let us continue to do what we do. So, John, out of everything that you have done, you have accomplished a lot of great things throughout your career. From being a musician and having the inspiration of the music to now making some of the best cigars on the market. Tell us about that experience. Tell us about that growth that you had to, or not even the growth, but tell us about that ability to overcome the adversity to get to where you are today.
It all started off because I found something that I really connected with on a passionate level, which was cigars. I didn't realize it at the time, but I did a lot of soul searching to get to the point where I'm like, okay, what is it that I would love to do that wasn't work? Like, I wouldn't work a day in my life because I love doing what I do. I narrowed it down to wine and cigars. Fortunately, I chose cigars. And, back then when I was trying to get in the industry, there was no sliding into DMs. There was no social media. So it was old school. Like, I was writing letters to everybody in Cigar Aficionado magazine asking for a job. John Ozgener, Tim's father, was kind enough to give me an opportunity. And I started at the ground floor and worked up. I started as a shipping manager for 5 months. And it's been a long road, but it's been well worth it.
Yeah.
It's just, you just got to stay with your passion, stay with your heart. Just, keep putting in the reps, and eventually good things come.
And I think that's the hardest part, too, especially being that we are in an industry where, especially at the time when you came in, there's people that came in that was part of your class of coming out that's not here anymore.
True.
So the fact that you're here and you're putting out some of the best cigars, in my personal opinion, I truly, and this is not because I have John here, I truly love what Crown Heads is doing. Like, I think we're the only shop in Jacksonville that fully 100% supports the brand, and it's a reason why, So
I have to interrupt to say, you're only as good as who you're partnered with.
Yeah.
So I can't sit here and take all this accolade and credit without giving a sincere thank you to the Garcia family and my father's cigars. Ernesto Perez Carrillo and Tabacalera La Alianza, Radio Pichardo, Tabacalera Pichardo, even Drew Estate. We did a gig with Drew Estate. So, I mean, I've been fortunate to work with some of the best factories in the world. So I'm lucky to take credit, but I don't take credit because it's product's only good as us.
Right. And just speaking from a humbling experience, and that was a humble statement. At the end of the day, you had to put in the work. You had to design. You had to put in the groundwork. You had to go ahead and build a brand. Yes, those factories helped you create what it is that you have today. But overall, if it wasn't for your ambition, your hard work, and your dedication, and making Crown Heads a world-renowned name, it wouldn't be here.
Yeah, and beyond that, we have a great team of sales guys that represent the brands in your shops and everybody else's shops. I'm in a bubble. I'm like creating, I'm validating blends. I'm doing the thing to get it to that point. But then it takes a village to get it to the next level. And then it takes good people like you to support the product to sell to the consumer. So it's not a one-man show by any stretch of the imagination. I'm very fortunate to have a lot of good people around me, a lot of good people that support the brand on the consumer level, on the retailer level. You know, it's an act of God, literally. So I'm very fortunate.
So you have a lot of great cigars coming out. What is the one that you have the highest anticipation for? And I know that is a trick question because you're going to say all of them. But one of the ones that when you smoked it and you said, okay, I need to tweak this a little bit, but this is going to be a home run. What was it?
The last one that I had that epiphany with was No Diaz.
Yeah.
We had been working off and on that blend since the better part of 3 years. Mm-hmm. And then in January of 20, when I smoked what I deemed the final blend, I was like, okay, yeah, this is it. And I kept calling it the game changer behind the scenes. I didn't have a name, but I knew that blend was special. That was really something else. But I mean, you try to get to that point with everything you do, you know, and then you know when it's right, and that's when it goes to market. That was the last one that I really kind of went, oh, it's something special, you know. But I'm very, proud of everything we've done between Mil Diaz to this point. I mean, I'm proud of the PCA. I'm proud of Sfumato. I'm proud of all the stuff we brought to the show, Tim's stuff. You know, I mean, it wouldn't be here if it wasn't right.
Speaking of La Patissier,
yes,
this blend, first time smoking it, we got them in a Robusto size to taste. I would imagine you tasted all the blends. I would tweak the blends. But it is something about this cigar that just is, for me, hitting away the palate. It has some notes of, pepper on the inhale, but it mellows out. You got some more creamy, cashewy, leather, oaky notes that comes out of it. What's your take from it? And, what is so special about this being the 2022 PCA release?
Well, we did in 2021. We did La Patissier as a PCA exclusive.
Yep.
So it was always in the back of my mind that if it got traction as that exclusive, that I would develop it into a regular production brand. In hindsight, I would not have taken the ring gauge as low as I did last year. We went down to a 44.
Yeah.
Right. So what that does to the blend is like you're now the wrappers. Broadleaf's a thick wrapper.
Yes.
To begin with, right. Very sturdy, very robust wrapper. When you get down to a 44 ring gauge, you have to get only the lower priming wrappers, those leaves, in order to make that down to a 44, which kind of amplified the Ometepec filler a little bit, which gives it a little dirtier of a feel to the taste. So I knew that if it was even had a little bit of success as a 44, I knew what I could do going up to like a 48 to 54, and that's what we did. So we expanded the range and the ring gauges from 48 to 50 to 52 to 54, and now what you taste is higher priming broadleaf wrappers. It's more richer. It's more like a dessert cigar, like it was intended to be. I wouldn't have done it again as a 6.5 44, but now it's like the real expression of broadleaf that I had in my mind. So I'm very happy with it.
So there's a commonality between everything you done released this year, and then every single one of the cigars. Well, not every single one. I take that back. But at least Las Calaveras, as well the La Patissier, they have a light blue incorporated in it.
Okay.
I know from the designer art and signification of how you signify your cigars. Is it anything special wrapped around that?
You know what? Until you brought that up, I didn't even realize that. On the PCA, the inspiration was like you go into a patisserie, which is a French bakery. They have these little cookies. They're called macaroon cookies, right? And they all these like pastel-y colors. And that was one of the colors I saw of these cookies. I'm like, okay, let's use that as the accent color. So when we were in the final design stages of the packaging, pink and that were the final choices. My graphics guy was like, I'm really feeling this pink. And I'm like, yeah, I like pink too. But would it really talk to my end consumer? So I went with that kind of teal, aqua, whatever you want to call that. So, and it looks good on a dark wrapper on that color, right? So it just kind of popped off of it. So it wasn't really intentional that I was going on in this blue thing or whatever, but it's kind of happened that way.
See, I was thinking more like Lakers, old school Lakers, something.
Lakers are purple.
No, well, they had the blue jerseys, blue and white jerseys back in the day.
Yeah, but actually the Calaveras this year has like a light blue pen, almost like a Carolina.
Yeah.
But again, I picked it because it would look good on the wrapper. We did a Corojo 99 wrapper on this year's Calaveras, and I thought, okay, that dark wrapper, that light blue, will really pop.
So I'll be honest with you, we haven't talked since the Mil Diaz de la Cream Bella Cusco came out. I want to let you know those are the complete home runs. I mean, we had a numerous amount of boxes, sold through them so quick. Actually, out of all my mule kicks that I've tasted, this is my palate only. I fell in love with 2022. I don't know what it was about it. Maybe you can break it down, what you did different, what you didn't do different, or maybe it's just the experience of how my palate is. But that cigar was simply amazing.
I knew it was special when we started messing with it. But, I mean, again, I got to give credit to Ernesto Perez Carrillo. It's like, at a certain point, I kind of feel more like Ernie's the musician, and I'm like the producer, and I'm like in the mixing board. And that's kind of what I do. I get the artwork together with the blend, with this, with that, and I produce it, I mix it. But when you have an artist or a musician like Ernesto Perez Carrillo, you just kind of get out of his way. You know what I mean? I mean, years and years ago, one of my best friends in the business is Pete Johnson. And he told me something. He said, look, if we start with good tobaccos, our job as brand owners is just don't, you swear on this thing? You say fuck it.
Yeah.
Just don't fuck it up, right? So, because at that point, I was like, man, I've only got the 3 or 4 renditions of Calaveras in 14, and I'm already finding one I love. He's like, it shouldn't be that hard. If you start with good tobaccos, it's our job not to fuck it up. It shouldn't take you 25, 30 versions of a blend to get to where you want to go.
Yeah.
So I always remember that. So to answer your question, I give all the credit to Ernie for doing that. I mean, we had a couple of options to go with the wrapper, and we went in the direction that Ernie kind of guided me in, and the rest is the rest.
The rest is history.
Yeah.
Well, John, one thing that I admire so much about you is even through current, past and future adversity, I know you're going to have a smile on your face. I know that you're going to sit here and do what's best for the brand. Right now, we're smoking something that is undisclosed, that has not been put out. It's been a project that he's working on, and I must say,
the first person, like besides me, to smoke this cigar. It's a true story. Before we went on air, I had a gentleman, I will not mention his name, who came to me and gave me a couple of bundles of cigars that literally he flew in with from Nicaragua and handed them to me. And so we just busted these open. They're smoking great already.
Yeah, they are.
Right? I mean, I'm not just saying that, but I'm impressed.
So what's your time frame for this cigar? Is it something for 2023, 2024?
Probably, if I can do something in 22 with it, I probably will. But as a manufacturer, the lead time on banned boxes now it went from like 4 to 5 weeks on bands to 15.
Jesus.
So that's a real consideration when you're working on a project. So if it's a regular production thing, it's probably going to be early 23. If it's an LE, I might be able to do it later in 22. But I haven't even gotten to that point yet. I mean, as far as like PCA, like to me, the dish is already done with that. Yeah. And I'm already thinking about the next meal. And before I left, I flew out of Nashville. I was already working on stuff. Yeah. So this for me is like I'm going through the motions of like, okay, the babies are gone, and it's like next.
Yeah,
You
next.
know what I mean? So, yeah, everything on my desk right now doesn't have a band on it. You know, I'm already like, for me, PCA, those were all done months ago.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of launching.
Launching
So
them.
I'm already working on stuff for 23.
Well, John, honestly, as we sit back and we just marinate in not only the notes of this cigar, but everything that you have done, I must say you're doing a fantastic job. We appreciate you so much for constantly putting out great cigars. There's one thing for that aspiring business owner or that aspiring musician or that aspiring whatever that's looking in the mirror saying, "What the hell am I doing? Am I doing the right thing?" What would you tell them?
I would tell them, look at it this way. If you're in a room with 100 people, 90 of them are not going to go through with their dream because they're afraid to fail. The other 10, they may or may not have the work ethic that you do. So your odds are a lot better at succeeding than you give yourself credit for. If you stay true to your heart and you do the work, your odds are good that you're going to succeed, period. Because I think what holds most people back is like they're just afraid to fail. But failure just brings you one step closer to success.
Failure is part of success.
Exactly. Mistakes are just lessons,
Yeah.
man.
Very much so.
So don't. I would say stay true to what you want to do, and just keep doing it. You know, a guy once told me, he's like, if you chase money, you're never going to be successful. Because chase your heart and your passion, and then you'll put in the time because you love doing it, and the money will take care of itself. And that was a great lesson for me. I'll never forget that. You know, and as soon as I stopped focusing on money, chasing the bag and all that, I focused on what I really love to do and the creative process, and I put in the work, and I got better at it. So,
Well, I have something in mind for a future show, probably early 2023. It's going to be different than anything we have ever done. And our goal is to tie in music as it relates to cigars.
okay.
So you're one of them. Obviously, we got to figure out planning.
And you know I'm not a musician. You know I don't play music.
You don't play music, but
I
you're an
love
artist.
Music. I love music, and music influences my creative process.
That's what it is.
Right. Yes.
So when I say that, he understood, but I don't want to make it perceived as if he was a musician. But the fact that a lot of his inspiration that comes from his cigars is based around music. I mean, you live in Nashville.
Yeah, but here's the funny thing. The one genre of music I do not like
is country.
Correct.
Country.
I do not listen to country music. I ended up in Nashville for other reasons, but I'm not into country music, so I don't mean to offend anybody out there that listens to country music, but that's just not my thing.
But
I didn't grow up on that.
What I was thinking is music inspires a lot of cigar brand owners.
Yeah.
Like, so you got Pete Johnson
Yes.
is inspired by music. You got Michael Hurlott's inspired by music. You have so many. Matt Booth is really art. His is more art and jewelry and tattoo. And he was a musician.
He did play, yeah.
So what I was getting to is a lot of the context of the creativeness comes from the ability to soak in and think about that next song that you was thinking about. You know, your favorite song. I'm sure it's something. Actually, as a matter of fact, is it one cigar that you made based off your favorite song? What song was it and what cigar is it?
I don't really have a favorite song. Different songs, either lyrically or sonically, influenced the various releases that we've done, right? But I've never said, "Oh, I have a favorite song and I'll make a cigar about it." It was just like it would just happen. Like it would just come into me and be like, "Oh, that beat sounds heavy, thick, and dense. I want to do a cigar that tastes like that drum beat."
Yeah.
And that became Heavenly Grange, for
Yeah.
instance, for example. Four Kicks was lyrically inspired. I mean, I don't listen to that song anymore, you know, that kind of a thing. I mean, the music that I love, like my favorite music that I listen to more and more is like most often, I probably would make a cigar about it, you know what I mean? I mean, if I showed you my Spotify list, it's all over the board, you know. I think we talked about this in the show before, but it's a lot of like old school stuff. It's a lot of like Jay-Z. It's a lot of Biggie. And it's a lot of new school stuff. It's like Kendrick. And I listen to a lot of. I'll go back and listen to Parliament. Like my first album I ever bought when I was a kid was Parliament Mothership Connection. Right? Nobody would think that, but would I ever do a cigar around it? Probably not. You know what I mean? But there's other influences that just kind of catch my eye, and I'll be like, oh yeah, that's kind of cool. It's sticking with me, and then somehow finds its way into my mind and into a cigar.
Speaking of Kendrick,
Yes.
really off topic. What was your thoughts of his new album?
Haven't heard it yet.
Really?
Have not heard it yet. I'm still listening to his old stuff.
Yeah, his old stuff is fire.
I
Well,
mean,
I like
he's such a creative force.
he is.
That's why I respect like a guy like Jay. Like I respect him because I love his music. I came up on his music, but he's such a creative force because he's got his hands in different things, right? He did the champagne thing. He did the clothing line. He owns a basketball team. He's all over the board. There's nothing that limits that man. Like he can be successful in any avenue that he decides to be successful in. That's an inspiration to me.
Yeah.
You know? And like I look at a guy like Kendrick, and like I'll watch his videos while I'm listening to the music because the videos are so inspiring. Like the creative mind to come up with some of this stuff. You know what I mean? Like Humble. That was a great example. I can watch that video over and over.
Very much
and
so.
I just love the creativity of it. You know? Yeah. That's what I'm about.
Well, John, thank you so much for taking your time out your busy schedule to come do this short segment.
Make yourself at home, man. Can I get you some Blantons?
Of course you can. Of course you can.
Like if
Hey,
I had that in my book.
John Hubert, everybody.
Pleasure. Thank you. Appreciate y'all.
Thanks, brother.
Hey, let me know when you want to know.
All right. About 15. So part of this segment, man, we're actually introducing a lot of different things. This time we're gonna go live, and me and Johnny's gonna talk about some of the PCA exclusive. So the man, the myth, and my other co-host on the show, Johnny, the cigar banker. What's up, my brother?
What's up with you, man? Hey, listen, I was just sitting back listening to all the great content, man. Holy smokes, man.
Hey, man.
Holy
Hey, look,
smokes.
I was just hoping I did a good job.
Hey, listen, not only the great content, but the fantastic music in the background, man. Dude, it sounds like you guys are having a blast out there, man.
Bro, they went crazy out of no freaking where. I'm trying
No,
to
but
tell
it
you.
sounds amazing. It sounds amazing.
2 minutes prior to the show.
Hey, listen, we got for the culture for everything else, man. Let's do a fist pound for the cigar culture because that music is just so fitting, man. It's so fitting.
Baby. Let's go. Hey, he does still handwrite his letters. I got a couple of them.
Oh, man.
So, Johnny,
what's up,
how
brother?
you feeling, man?
Dude, I'm feeling fantastic, man. Hey, listen, we got the virtual smoke deck at PCA. I mean, it don't get no better than that.
Hey, and next year, you're going to be here with me, right?
We're going to be here, man. We're going to be there together, man. Yes, sir.
Hey, look, man, there's a lot of great things that got released. This PCA show that I think a lot of consumers are going to just eat the freak up.
Yeah.
I mean, you tell me a brand and we go down it, man. I cover it. So prior to even going into that, I think my wife has a picture of something. You do not? Huh? Let me see it. So they just unveiled the Padron and Fuente collaboration. Johnny, you want to go and talk about a little bit about it while I get the pictures and videos going?
Absolutely, man. I mean, just from what I read online, man, number one, what we know now is it's going to be a 40 count box. You got a 40 count box, and the Vitola is a 7x50, if I'm not mistaken, Jack. So here you have it. You got Fuente's making 20 cigars to honor Jose, and then you have Padron is making 20 cigars to honor Carlito, to honor Fuente. Jack, we talked about it a little bit, man, and you probably got a little bit more information than that, just sit right there, based upon what they released online. But I'm excited about those cigars, man. I mean, we've been waiting on those cigars since, I think 2020, they initially announced the collaboration in 2020. So we've been waiting a little bit, man. We've been waiting about 2 years, and COVID probably had a big impact, you know, into that waiting as well.
All right. So Johnny hit the nail on the head. They released it back in 2020 that they were going to go ahead and release a cigar to celebrate the fathers of the brands. I mean, obviously, Carlito Fuente Sr. and Jose Padron. it was staples in the industry. So what it looks like, Johnny said it's going to be a 50 count box.
40.
40 count box.
Yeah.
There's no price tag out from what I know. I would just imagine, I will be really surprised if this cigar was anything less than, $20,000. I mean, not $20,000, $2,000.
Yeah.
I will be really surprised if this does not retail for $2,000 or more. All right. So during the presentation, George and Carlito was there, and I don't know if you guys can really see it. Johnny, talk to me.
It's really hard to see, but what I'm kind of getting at, because kind of in the description when I was reading about it, is number one, the whole entire presentation is supposed to tell a story.
Very.
So there's pictures, there's symbolism, and there's a lot of storytelling inside of the box.
Very much so. So on the Fuente side, there is, all pictures of Fuente Senior.
So it's split
on the
in
top,
two?
It's split in two.
Nice.
And I think there's a mystery cigar in the middle. I don't know what's the contents of it. It seems like a little coffin, but there is a mystery cigar that's in the middle. There is, and then on the Padron side, there's Jose with all his pictures and his cigars that's commemorative to him, and that's all blended by Carlito. And all of the Fuente was blended by George.
So Jack, I got a question, right?
Talk to me.
We got two of the patriarchs in the game that's blended for each other, right? Now we know that Fuente and Padron have two very distinctive flavors.
Very much so.
They have two distinctive flavors. Padron, you get the robust, the earthiness. With the Fuentes, you get a lot of the heavy cedar presence, and you get the medium to full body cigar. But it's, what I'm saying? So those blenders, when they're blending, my question is Carlito going to blend cigars for Padron that's going to reflect or taste in terms of palate more like Fuente cigars or Padron? Is he going to, and then the same thing for Padron? Is Padron going to try to blend a cigar that honors Fuente in the respect of flavor and notes and dimensions? So that's my biggest question with those, with those two patriarchs blended for each other.
I would imagine. Go ahead. Sorry.
No. Go ahead.
No, I was going to say, that is something that came out during the initial, right? Everybody was concerned because Padrones are a little bit more on the earthier side, the leathery side, dark chocolate, full flavored.
Yeah, absolutely.
And as we talked about, full flavor does not dictate the body, right?
Nope.
You can have a full flavor cigar with a Connecticut body or a mild body, or a mild cigar with a full body. So it does not dictate. But more of the story is that was one thing that they mentioned. That was one thing that they talked about on hitting the nail on the head for that. And I think they did a good job with it. Obviously, none of us has smoked it outside of Padron family. And honestly, I had conversations with George while we were here at the show. I had conversations with Carlito while we were here at the show. And they're not even disclosing a lot of the information that goes along with it. I was having drinks with George Friday night, and we were talking, and he said, I don't even have a price point for it yet, Jack.
Yeah.
I have no clue, like the details that wraps around this. But I know that was something that they were looking at. So I would imagine they blended their best cigar in celebration of what they feel their fathers would have enjoyed.
Which is a damn good legacy. I mean, if we'll be honest.
Literally. I mean, it's crazy, bro. So I would imagine it was so many people that was out there. It was really hard to get really up close pictures. I'm sure there's a couple of people that will have very great detailed pictures. It does look like it is probably an Opus X, a white label Opus X with a white band on the foot. Padron looks like it's going to be more of the the labels for like a 50th, but I think it's just that much crazier on it.
Now, question, Jack, from the picture, does it look like, because we understand that, a lot of, pretty much the majority of the Padron SKUs are box press. So does it look like any of those cigars may be box press and then?
Go ahead, I'm sorry.
No, you go ahead.
No, to answer your question, it does look like it's a box press Padron.
Nice.
It does look like it's a box press Padron, and it does look like it's just a round press cigar for Fuente.
Yeah.
I mean, the thing looks amazing, man. I'm gonna post it. I'm gonna post it on my page later. We'll post it on the Dapper D's page. But it's just crazy the amount of stuff that kind of goes around that. Obviously, that was one of the most anticipated brand releases and collaborations that were coming out of PCA. We still don't know when it's gonna come. We still don't know how long it's gonna take before it starts shipping to retailers. We don't know any of that. Yeah. But the only thing that we do know for sure is that this cigar is freaking highly anticipated.
Yeah.
And make sure your ducks is in a row if you want a box, because I would imagine, and I can just only speak from my standpoint, this is probably not going to be a cigar that is sold individually.
No, not at all.
It's only going to be sold in boxes.
Yeah.
And I would imagine the boxes are going to be $2,000.
Yeah.
I'm going on a limb and saying that 5,000, guessing. So anywhere between 2,000 to 5,000.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean it's, and then on top of that, just know that you could possibly be paying more than that if you don't get it. If you don't get on it, man. What's up, Ronnie? Got Ronnie in from New Orleans, man. Hey, Johnny, talking about something else that just was another phenomenal release. The Saka came out with a Stillwell Holiday.
Yeah.
So if you haven't had the Stillwell of the 4 that came out last year, which is mixed with pipe tobaccos, aromatics, it was a couple more. He's releasing a holiday series of the Stillwell. When I say the cigar is off the fucking chain, my brother, the cigar is truly off the fucking chain. I mean, you talk about a well-composed cigar.
Yeah. Talk about the notes, Jack, because you've smoked it. Talk about the notes, man.
So it uses another pipe tobacco. Okay. On the instance, you get more of a white pepper on the intake, but it smooths out. It smooths up like almost like honey type deal, but it's not a flavor honey. It's more of a honey tasting leather, if that makes sense. So if you can imagine, smell leather, taste honey, combine them together. That's what you're normally getting on just the first third. And then it mellows out to a cashewy note that really comes in and just knocks your fucking head off. From there, it just seems like it just gets better. Like it just builds and gets better. You know what I mean? So that is he also came out with the Total Las Diaz, which they stopped making that blend a long time ago because they were having problem with sourcing the tobacco needed to make that cigar. And man, that cigar just came out amazing, man. I told Sai, I said, bro, like this is a home run. Who else came out? El Septimo. We got to talk about this. El Septimo presented a $5.5 million cutter, bro. I mean, lighter. I
saw that.
I have a video lighting my cigar with it. It wasn't many people that lit their cigars with that actual torch.
Hey, Jack, how did it feel in your hand, man?
Bro, I didn't get to touch it.
Oh, no. Oh, my goodness.
Hey, bro, they got some big black ass big, massive bodyguards guarding that damn thing, dog. Hey,
Hey,
look,
some brothers that look like me.
bro. Hell no, they don't look like you. They don't look like you. Those guys that's guarding that lighter over there looks like god dang the Big Show. Okay,
Oh my goodness.
the Big Show, and they
Oh,
they
my
are not
goodness.
here to play. Okay, it's 200 carats
Oh my God.
of diamonds and rubies, bro.
Oh my God.
The thing is probably it will fit like this in my hand. In my hand, the thing is
Golly.
massive.
Hey, listen, I saw in a picture. It was our brother Jeff down from Coronas, man. He said he posted a video of him tasting some cognac, I believe it was.
Mhm.
I want to say it was like almost $2 million for this bottle of cognac.
The decanter was 1.5 million.
The decanter. Oh my God. Just the decanter.
And it's 148-year-old cognac.
Holy smokes.
148 years, bro.
Holy smokes.
They came out crazy. Another one. I mean, we cannot not talk about Crown Heads while we're here.
Yes.
The La Pesar. Obviously, we just had John on there talking about the La Pesar. This cigar is get it. That's all I'm gonna say. Ace Prime came out with this great cigar. Look at this case, man. So you open it up and it slides out.
Slides. Wow.
So in the sliding out, this is a 6x60 case. It also has the words, so you can take it out the case, turn it sideways, and put it on the shelf. You can turn it this way and put it on the shelf without the actual box to it.
Wow.
Ellie Blue. Ellie Blue is the people that come out with all the Fuente humidors, lighters, and all that good stuff. They came out with another great cigar. I mean, humidor. Fuente came out with the Eye of the Shark. So Eye of the Shark and another exclusive Opus X is being shipped to retailers that made the appropriate order of cigars. Yeah. Hey, bro, you know damn well I didn't come all the way out here to sit on this damn couch and talk to you. Hell yes. Everything I talk about is gonna be at Dapper D's.
It's gonna be at Dapper D's.
Everything, every single thing. The Stillwell we're getting in, all that.
That's it. The premium cigar retailer in Jacksonville.
The premium, the home of premium boutique cigars in Jacksonville, man. So that's another one. Tatuaje released another. They actually released 4 cigars. They have one that's called pork chop, the tender sirloin.
Yeah.
That's another one that's coming out. I want to say 2023. They have, I can't think of the name, but it's a white. It's a blue with a red band. That is coming out soon. Rocky came out with something as well. It's called the DBS. As a matter of fact, I think I have that cigar with me right now. All my other ones are. So he came out with a new edge. This edge is a actual pretty expensive price point compared to the other edge.
The other one.
This one is going to be about $13-14 retail. DBS is another good looking one. Full body cigar. These are all going to be regular production cigars that they're going to be releasing and bringing out here in the near future for retailers. And I end up messing up, and I didn't put these cigars in the bag, and they're just destroyed, especially the edges right now. But man, a lot of great cigars. You know what I was shocked to see?
Talk to me.
It's a lot of boutique cigars out here. I've never heard of some of the boutique cigars that has came out.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's a lot. Another one, Cavalier released their new cigar as well. Yeah. Their new cigar as well. Called the what is it? The inch. I think I got it somewhere. Hold on. Give me a second. Give me a second. Yeah, the inner circle. So here, let me pull out the bag real quick. Pull it out the bag. Inner Circles, it looks like it's going to be a freaking amazing cigar. I haven't smoked it yet. But that's the Inner Circle by Cavalier. But, I mean, hands down, if your retailers are not coming back with some good shit, they didn't do enough out here at PCA. Because everybody came out with something that is fire, that is hitting all the notes. Johnny, what questions you got? Talk to me, baby.
Man, listen, I'm listening, man, and I'm excited. I wish I was there with you, man. I wish
Next year.
It's gonna happen, champ. It's gonna happen, man.
Next year, I'm saying it here on live. We're gonna have Johnny, the cigar baker, out here at PCA, and he's gonna enjoy this shit. He's gonna be like a kid in a candy store, man.
That's it.
Kid in a candy store, bro. It's gonna be so much going on. I mean, it's just a great time. You know, I met Reema. I met John Reema.
Nice.
Johnny Smokes and Lena.
Lena, yeah.
Here. Man, we done met some great people. Guy Ferrer was out here signing hats and
Nice.
cigar bags and all that stuff for the knuckle sandwich. Any news? Now that's a good one, David. Now that is a good one, David. Foundation came out with 3 brand new cigars.
Okay.
They have the Olamac, which is a regular production cigar. I have not smoked it yet. Here at PCA, man, if anybody said they smoked all these damn cigars, they're lying. Because you get so many and your palate is eventually torched. They came out with the McLeaf, something like that. It has a pyramid-shaped box. I mean, the thing is just amazing. The presentation of that box is simply amazing. Those cigars that Nick sent us, those Perfectos on the El Quince and the Wiseman, they came out in the El Baton, regular production.
Yeah.
What else? Trying to think of anything else.
I know the last time we had Nick on here, he was talking about a brand new cigar that was coming out. I don't know if he introduced it at PCA. I don't know if any of those 3 were some of the ones that he was talking about when we had him on the show a couple months back.
I would imagine so. Again, I would imagine those was the ones that he were talking about on that actual segment.
Nice.
And getting into the so the McLeaf, the one that I was talking about that came in that kind of the pyramid body box, they're not giving samples of it. So I don't even know what it tastes like until it comes into the store. But what I can tell you, David, we will have it at Dapper D's, and I'm sure some of your retailers out there will have it as well. So yeah. That it's just astronomical on some of the things that were just released at the show. And I mean, just seeing everybody, man. I want to say last year it wasn't this many people, it wasn't this many booths, and it's so many new people that came out and different things of that nature. Johnny, we're about to go into our next segment.
Let's get it.
So I'm gonna go ahead and knock you off and introduce our guest here in a second, okay?
Let's go, brother.
So part of this exclusive segment and our in-person segment at Crown Heads, we get to sit down and talk with somebody that is been in the game for a long time. I'm sure you guys, if you guys been smoking a long time, you know who this guy is. He doesn't need an introduction, but I'm gonna go ahead and introduce him anyways. Known for creating the actual CAO brand and making that brand to what it is today. And I mean, after deciding to get out the business, he decided that he was going to go and continue on with his cleaning company, man. And now he's back in the game as a co-owner of Crown Heads, if I'm not mistaken, and releasing his brand new brand, the Ozgener cigar. Introducing Tim Ozgener.
Jack, how are you?
I'm good, Tim. How you doing?
Good, man. Nice meeting you.
I'd like to meet you as well. This is actually our first time even talking this whole trade show. Tim has been going around doing a lot of stuff, and I'm sure meeting with a lot of people. I was talking to Alan Rubin yesterday, and he said if it's one thing that you need to make part of your show, it's Tim. So
Well, I mean, that's because I made him laugh. I can do a lot of impressions, so that's probably why he said that. I appreciate you saying that, Jack.
So Tim, you're back in the industry. How does it feel?
Great. I mean, look, I love the industry. I love cigars. I mean, it brings people together. People are in a good mood. My father used to say, he's like, when you smoke a cigar, you are immediately, Jack, relaxing. Why? Because you are inhaling, you slow your breath, and you exhale.
Yeah.
And then you are relaxed. So I feel like that's kind of, a really important kind of thing to do. We relax, but at the same time, we get a little bit of a stimulation because a little bit of nicotine goes in and perks us up.
Yep.
So we can be relaxed and attentive at the same time. So it feels great. I love the product. I love the camaraderie. I love the industry. It brings people together and relaxes people. And you're doing the bourbon. I mean, it's great.
Do you need a glass?
I mean, I cannot say no to Blank.
Hey,
so yeah, I will take a glass.
Can you ask John to get him a glass, please?
So yeah, it feels good to be back. I loved it and missed it.
Hey, well, you know what they say is once you're in the cigar industry, it's no way you're leaving it.
Yeah, it's kind of like Carlito's way, right?
You get pulled back in. It does not matter what it is. At the end of the day, you're put in a position where eventually you're gonna come back.
Yeah.
So obviously, your family has been I'm a younger guy, okay? So don't be mad at me. I'm 30 years old.
I'm jealous of your hairline. I'm looking at his hairline. It's a tremendous hairline. Mine is gone, Jack. So.
Well, my hairline is like this because I have a barber that puts that black spray stuff on, and it makes it look good. It makes it stand out.
Whatever you're doing is working, man. Don't change.
Hey, I know.
Jack, it's good.
Hey, thank you. It's actually one of my my lounge is called Dapper D's.
Yeah.
So the name says everything that we represent, right?
Yeah.
So one of my projects, because I don't make cigars, I don't blend cigars, I just smoke cigars and sell them. But I love fashion, I love clothes, I love dressing. And one of the things I was watching Bear Lair, it's a TV show that's inspired by the Fresh Prince of Bel Air.
Yeah.
And they're in a college, and during the college they have these jackets that is their uniforms. And it was a blue jacket with a gold stripe. And I told my haberdasher, one of my guys that does all my custom suits, I said, I want it. And not only do I want it in blue, I want it in maroon too. Maroon is my favorite color. So
there you go.
I had to make sure I got it.
I went to USC, so these are very close to like USC colors, right?
Well, you know what? As a matter of fact, I think I could probably get you one sent.
Hey, there you go.
Hey, and that's coming from Dapper D. So shout out to Arminians for making that project happen.
There you go.
So Tim, you're back in the industry. Obviously, you're in full swing. You got some new cigars out.
Yep.
Let's grab that box real quick. So a lot of people haven't really been able to see this box and all the details that this box goes into in person. A lot of it has been over Cigar Aficionado.
You can open it too. Yeah, here we go.
So it displays. Tell us about the artwork that is displayed on this coming out cigar.
Yeah, so one of the things is that once I realized that I wanted to get back into the industry, I think it's really important the why you're going to do it.
Yeah. So
for me, the why was I found I did during the pandemic. Somebody said you need to do this one exercise that someone is of your life. You look back on your life like the stock market.
Yeah.
This year was up. This year was down. This year was neutral. And why? So when I was doing it, I found that my up years was when I was in the cigar industry, and I was like, creating products or new, interesting, unique blends based on the quality of tobacco that was available at the time down in Central America. And once I would find that, I wanted to convey that through the packaging. So, for example, CAO Brasilia, when we did it, we had some Brazilian tobacco from Arapiraca that was really nice. So we wanted the box to look like Brazil, like green. And when we did it, people are like, "You're crazy. There are no boxes that are green. It won't sell because it'll make the cigars look green." And I said, "That's crazy. The cigar's a dark wrapper.
Yeah.
Why is it going to make it look
Brazilian
green?"
wrapper at that?
So, part of it was like that whole thing. So when we started this new brand, I was like, I started, fortunately, asking myself, who am I? Where did I come from? What's important to me? What are my ethics, morals, values, which I found to be for cigars, I want it to be like well-made, flavor, the ingredients. And then the final one, well, it might surprise you, it was good humor. Not just laughing, right, or enjoyment, but also like who are you around? Who do you surround yourself with? How do you communicate with people? So I think that's important
Yeah.
too. It's not, of course, it has to start with a great cigar, but it also has to start with the essence of who are you?
Yeah.
And so once we did that, we built the brand from there. And who am I is my father, Jono, who started CAO, was an Armenian born in Istanbul.
Okay.
And my mother was Turkish. And they met when they were both in New York City. My mother was a Fulbright scholar going to Bank Street College of Education. And across the street from that was Columbia University, where my dad was pursuing his mechanical engineering degree. So this kind of shows the story on one side here. On this side, you're showing the Armenian side, which is Mount Ararat. That is, I want to show it here so you can see that without the glare. Yeah, on this side,
I'm gonna
Mount Ararat has a lot of. I can see over here on it has a lot of significance for Armenians. It's got a very kind of emotional meaning. On this side, you have the Bosphorus and the Bosphorus Bridge, which is a strait in Istanbul that kind of brings together Europe and Asia and connected with bridges. And in the center here, you see the Statue of Liberty,
Yeah.
which of course is so important.
Bringing it all together.
When people come to this country, it's like a really kind of important symbol. It's symbols that I've made it over here.
Yeah.
And there's sunlight shining through the middle onto the foothills of Tennessee, where we kind of grew up and built our business. And in the middle, you may not be able to see it, is a small boat which represents the journey that someone in our lineage took to get to this country. Now, my parents came not on a boat, but on a plane.
You're right.
Right? But it still represents the journey. So the whole thing represents, if these two cultures of, that have like kind of a difficult history with one another could get together and marry through my mother and father and have be married for 55 years and actually achieve the American dream. My father was a busboy and a waiter when he was going to college and stuff, and he worked his way up. And my mother had to also like do internships because she had an accent and she wanted to be a teacher, an educator. So in the end, it's kind of the story of if these two can get together and find a nice life, then we should all be able to get together and convene over a cigar, relax, and get to know one another and listen to one another at a really kind of human level. So that's kind of what this brand story is about.
Well, Tim, I want to let you know, when I first seen this, I didn't see none of that. So
that's why it's good for me to tell you the story, the background.
It's simply amazing. And then, like, not even the details. He didn't even hit on the details that his father's face is right here, along with his mother's face, and how it shows the kind of how it goes in. Cigars about stories nowadays.
Yes.
I don't know back in the day if it was. I don't think people really cared about the actual story.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think it's more important now.
And everything is more important now, especially as we all know CAO. We all know, Tim and all the great things that Tim did in the industry. But we don't really. Sorry, it couldn't be a better lighter.
No, but this also I wanted to show the band too. They might not be able to see it because of the glare, but there you go. The band has a lot of symbolism in there. It has like the stars and stripes. It has like kind of the crown that you see on the Statue of Liberty.
Yeah.
It has red, white, and blue in the end. And at the bottom of it, the second band, because the blend is called the Bosphorus blend, named after the strait in Istanbul. It has piping from the Armenian flag and Turkish flag also. So it has a combination of these elements. It took about 2 years, to be honest with you, Jack, to develop this brand. And it was meticulous from the detail standpoint, and then the cigar itself is obviously important. And so the cigar has like a hybrid seed that is a hybrid of Habano and also Ecuador. The wrapper is Ecuador Sumatra grown there, or like not Ecuador, should I say? The Sumatra seed is a hybrid seed, like I said. And then what's interesting about this from a composition standpoint is got a double binder, which I never worked on at CAO.
Wow.
So, which adds an additional layer of richness. So one of the binders is Connecticut Seed Ecuador, so almost like a Claro wrapper. And the other one is Jalapa.
Yeah.
So it has a balance of like butteriness and also sweet earthiness. And then the fillers are Esteli, Jalapa, and Omotepe, the volcanic island there, right? So when you smoke it, it gives you this like kind of, and we blended it to not be uh, really, really full bodied. We wanted it to be medium, and so that and medium plus, but with a lot of interesting complexity
Absolutely.
to it. So a mild smoker could enjoy it, a full bodied smoker could enjoy it too.
Wow.
So we wanted it to be a cigar that is for everyone,
Yeah.
like the story is.
Yeah. And I think it's very interesting, like the amount of detail and the amount of work. You know, you see some brands that don't have the creative juices to have such a detailed story and about their cigars, especially right now. I mean, I've seen it more and more and more. People love boutique cigars now. I'm not saying that this is, because I mean the name speaks for itself. It's going to go just how Michael Herlock's did with Furo Tiago. It's going to go through the freaking roof once they hit the
That's
show.
nice. Thank you very much.
But you know, you don't see too many people go into the direct detail that they need in order to, you know, create the story and the legacy and the why, right?
Yeah.
I'm seeing and I'm feeling more than anything like the passion was always there. It was like the torch was always burning.
Yeah.
But it was like no matter how far you got away with the torch and how much wind came and how much rain came, it just never went out.
Yeah, no, that's true. I mean, you know, again, I mean, I read a lot before this, and one of the books that was very influential for me is a book by Simon Sinek, which is Start With Why. And when I read it, you know, I kind of connected with that idea that, you know, some of the brands that we kind of gravitate to, they all started from the center, the core, the soul, the heart. Why are you doing this? And if you're not doing it from the center, from your core, then I don't think that it has that kind of longevity. If I'm telling the story to you or to anyone, you can see in my eyes, is it true? Is it real?
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
if I'm not real with you, you can tell there's
Yeah.
something in our human interaction. You know, we get, as we experience with a lot of people, you can kind of tell.
Yes.
So I wanted it to be based on the truth, and also it needs to be based on, you want it to be quality, because you can't smoke a cigar and feel good about it also if you know it's not a quality
Very
product.
much so.
You know?
Yeah.
I'm going to grab this too, because this is another one that I want to talk
Yes, let's do it.
about. So this is another one that is an interesting, an authentic and interesting story. So this one is, you know, a limited edition pie synesthesia. Now, what is pie synesthesia? And I'll show the cigar and the band too, if they can see it. You might want to. So that you're showing, Jack, right now is a piece of art that my father did. It's based on a piece of art that he did. The last 10 years of my late father's life, Jono,
Oh, sorry.
he painted 500 paintings. And why did he paint so many paintings? Is that my father had a lot of cancers the last 10 years of his life.
Yes.
He had, now I went and got a genetic test. I was so worried about it, and I was fine. And they said, with your father, it was probably environmental. Well, my father worked for DuPont, you know, before he started CAO meerschaum pipes in 1968, and he worked on Teflon. And Teflon, they found to have been the cause of cancers. So I have no proof of it, because now he's gone.
Yeah.
But my theory is he might have gotten that from when his time at DuPont. But in the final 10 years of his life, when he painted, it made him feel good, because he saw color and he connected to the colors of the world and of nature. And so during this process, he learned of this thing called synesthesia. Synesthesia is an odd kind of ailment that some people can have, and I'm not sure if you call it an ailment. It's a condition where if I say to you a number, if I say 1, you might think of maroon.
Yeah.
If I say 2, you may think blue. If I say 3, you might think green.
Yeah.
Or some people have it with a musical tone more often than color. So if I say 1, you might think of the musical note C, or 2, you might think B. So my father thought this was like a fascinating idea. He's like, well, why don't I paint around this concept? And he loved the number pi because it was an infinite number, like 3.1415.
Yeah, yep.
So he would paint all these like you can't see it, but you see this painting over here. That's based on that color, that concept. So he labeled the number 3. I will paint it yellow. So the number 3 is yellow. The number 1 is red. You know what I mean? And so on and so forth. So with here, this is yellow. I said, when I was down in the factory working with Luciano kept saying, I have this condition. I said, Luciano, you look healthy. What's your condition? He says, I have this thing called synesthesia. And I'm like, oh, you got to be kidding me. My dad's painted like freaking 500 pieces of painting on synesthesia. And I look, I'll show you. And I Googled him because you can Google John Ozgener. He has his own website. It's still functioning. And I showed him all the pictures of the paintings that he did. And then as we're looking through here, we were marveling over it. I said, why don't we blend? Because Luciano's is more around, flavor. I said, why don't we blend around yellow? What does yellow taste like? What does yellow look like? And that's what this cigar represents. This cigar is based on the idea of let's blend what we think yellow tastes like.
Wow.
So, and the wrapper is Connecticut seed Ecuador, so it has a yellowish tint to it. So when you smoke it, you should be thinking about what does it taste yellow? Yeah. When we were blending it, what did we see that makes it taste yellow? Is it cream? Is it butter? Is it lemon? I hope not too much. Is it, you know what I mean? Like what is it? And so therefore the vista here is also yellow. But what's interesting is my father would sign all of his paintings with this. He was a really good calligrapher. So this is a C. And then the vista also, he painted over tobacco leaves. So this is based on his painting where he painted over a tobacco leaf and then he lacquered it. So when you get the actual box, you can feel it, Jack. It feels kind of like the ridges of a tobacco leaf.
Yeah, it does actually.
Yeah.
You can kind of see it too.
Yeah, that's the idea.
See like kind of the veins and the
that's right.
details of it. This is like a leaf right here.
Yes. And somebody asked a really good question. They said, if that's the case, why isn't the outside of the box yellow? Great question. And the reason is that he had these art books published, and the outside of the art books, he had a purple sleeve that they went in. So we were just mimicking the outside of these art books to be a royal purple or like a dark purple. And so these are, we're going to have a limited edition of 2,500 boxes of these. And then the next year, the cigars are smoking really great, so I'm happy about that. But in the next year, the idea would be, what does red taste like?
That's awesome. But how are you going to get a red wrapper?
Yeah, you won't. We're not. I can tell you, we're not going to paint it. Okay? And we're not going to. I might have to call your haberdasher.
Hey! Tell him to sew something on there.
Can your haberdasher make it look red?
I'm trying to tell you, he'll be able to do something. So Tim, you're fully back. I don't know what anybody else could say outside of wow. This is like, I didn't know this was going to happen. I didn't know this was a part of our interview that we were going to talk about. But I mean, it's so informative. And when you talk to legends around the show, in regards to what is one thing that they're most excited about seeing in this show, and a lot of them are saying to see Tim back. And I'm not making that up.
Really?
I'm serious.
No way, really.
I'm serious.
That's awesome. Thank you.
Like you genuinely have an aura, and your family has created an aura that is just it's amazing. CAO is a brand that is well recognized. Obviously, we know Rick Rodriguez has finally left.
Yeah.
He was the first person that took it over
That's right.
after it sold.
That's right.
So he stayed and kind of kept the brand going.
Yeah.
With General or Scandinavian.
Yeah, tobacco. Yeah.
But now he's breaking off, and there's been nobody that's been announced, to my understanding, of who's going to take it over. Does that sound like something that you maybe want to get back, or are you just going to totally depart with it and stick on to Ozgener's family cigar?
Well, I mean, honestly, listen, those are my father's initials, and I want it to live on and do well.
Yeah.
So I hope that they make the right decisions and continue to grow that brand. Whenever I speak to someone there at Scandinavian Tobacco Group, they seem very kind of bullish and optimistic on it, and they seem to say that they're pleased with how it's doing. But I don't know. It's funny when you are away from it and you have a chance to kind of you have to get emotionally detached
Yeah,
from it, and
yeah.
so that time has been a time that I've had to do that. And now I'm just sort of like moving forward and looking ahead, you know what I mean? And so I'm excited about this new brand that we've developed, or these new brands. And but everything I want to do, I want it to be real and authentic, and coming from the center of like who we are. Otherwise, I don't want to do it. I
Yeah.
don't want it to be. It comes across as disingenuous and gimmicky, and I don't want to do that.
So unofficially, we have some thoughts. We're not gonna speak thoughts. Thoughts doesn't matter. But why Crown Heads? Why did you decide that you were gonna come back and partner and become a co-owner of Crown Heads when you came back?
Well, Crown Heads. The thing that's important also, I'm glad you mentioned that, is that the team.
Yeah.
The team at Crown Heads are they're my brothers. They're my brothers that I worked with at CAO.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, when we worked together, we had fun. And I think I heard another quote recently that I liked, which it has to do with culture trumps culture trumps strategy.
Yeah.
And we somehow had this kind of natural culture at CAO with like our core guys, and also the same thing with Crown Head. So it's a lot of guys that were like at CAO before that are now at Crown Heads. So, and and here you got like a trumpet player, Jack,
literally right there.
We're getting serenaded the whole time.
We're getting closer.
Can I make a request? Like, can we play Guantanamera?
I'm trying to tell you.
Anyway, so, but I feel like that was
the right move.
And also, like, so they were my brothers. And then from after my non-compete was through, then I got involved in Crown Heads also, so from an equity standpoint, but I was being a silent partner.
Yeah.
And then as time passed and we kept kind of talking, I was like, Mike Condor and I and John Huber and I spoke, and I was like, you know what, guys, I mean, if you think it's a good idea, I have some ideas of what we can, I'd like to get back into the business. And if they had not been encouraging, I would not have done it.
Yeah.
So they were encouraging, and they said, look, I mean, there are a lot of consumers that don't know who I am, and there's some that do, and that's fine. I'm doing it again because of my love for it, and everything about it, the creation of it and the communication of it.
Yeah.
So that's why back to Crown Heads is because I worked with them, and there's a high degree of level of trust and love for working with one another.
So last question as we wrap up, because I know you have a busy schedule and have things to get back to. Walk me through the day when you realize that I'm gonna go back to the industry.
Well, I think it was we had started a contemporary arts center in Nashville. So it was the headquarters where CAO used to be, and we converted it into a space that we're bringing like innovative artists, mainly in performing arts. We were inspired by Miami's Art Basel, Brooklyn, with like, the Renaissance of Brooklyn was because of an arts center there called Brooklyn Academy of Music. Now it's called BAM. And so we started that, my father and I, that journey started in 2012, and we launched our first performance in 2014.
Okay.
But then the first 5 years, I find, of starting a business, building it, you have to be 100% committed.
Very much so.
So after I did that, and we found somebody, I remember I had a lunch with Mike Condor and I, and Mike said, I've been thinking about it, and I know you have too, and we feel like that with you involved in it, we could take things to another level, which I felt very it was a nice compliment for sure. And then I said, I've been looking back on my life, and I feel like that it's something that I want to do too, because I loved it. And it was at that moment, to answer your question, that I said, okay, well, we got to find somebody that is amazing, that can run the nonprofit center we started called Oz Arts Nashville. And then once we found that person, then it was like, let's go.
Let's
Full
do it.
steam ahead. So
Let's
that's
do
it. It was, but you know what, Jack, with everything, it's a longer process a lot of times than you think. And then the pandemic also came into play. But we got there. But it was something that you have to also have some patience at times, right? So but it was a good question that you just asked.
So many people try to rush things, and you can't rush perfection. And I think I told John this, and I told him on air, and I say it every time I see him. And I think he think I'm just kissing his ass. I don't kiss anybody's ass, right? But I genuinely like John.
Yeah.
Like, I really love his passion. I remember one of the first cigars I smoked was the Tennessee Waltz.
Yeah, beautiful cigar.
Amazing cigar. At my time at Havana Mix in Memphis, Tennessee. And that cigar, I was like, oh my God, I want it. So I got to Florida and I was looking for it and I couldn't find it. So the reason I couldn't find it, because it was a Tennessee exclusive, right? It was only shops in Tennessee had it.
You left Memphis to go to Florida. You could have got it in Memphis.
You're right. I thought it was gonna be there, right? So, you know, I told him from the very beginning, I always had a deep root with Crown Heads, and then it was Henley LaGrange, which became he had a Lancero. That cigar came in, was simply amazing, and I just fell in love with the brand. So I don't think I've ever told him this story, but I tried to signify to him as much as I possibly can in the most genuine and humbling way. Y'all are going to be a brand that is a force to be reckoned with. Anytime you release something, it's going to be, hey, we got to get that. And obviously we know, the industry is built around lineage, and it's built around the ability to overcome adversity and the ability to prove time after time after time after time that I am who I said I am. And Tim, I think that's you, brother.
Oh, thanks, man. Well, the other thing that when you're talking about this, the other thing I love most about cigars is that you could be sitting with someone that is a CEO and also someone that is, maybe they're picking up trash.
Yep.
And what brings us together? This.
Yes.
And we can sit and we can relax and we can get to know one another. And even if we had nothing to talk about, we talk about this.
Yeah, we're going to talk about that.
So, but I appreciate you and everything you do. I think what you do, you have passion. It's really important. I applaud you, and I want you to keep doing what you're doing, because people need to understand what these stories are and why we are doing this. Because it comes from the heart.
Yes.
And I can tell yours comes from the heart too.
Thank you, Tim. It was my pleasure, brother.
My pleasure.
I see you, baby.
I love this.
No, I'm serious.
Story,
I'm serious.
I'm gonna have to bring you to a USC game.
Hey, I've been telling my wife we need to take a trip to Nashville. So before the end of the year,
anytime.
We're gonna come up to Nashville, and I just need your jacket size. Your jacket size. That's it.
I'll give that to
All
you,
right,
man.
Tim.
Thanks.
It was a pleasure, my brother. Thank you so
Pleasure
much.
is mine. Thank you, my friend.
Hey, Johnny, we're gonna go ahead and switch to the other part, man. What amazing interview by Tim, man. My first time ever meeting him. Like I said, we sat down and we talked a lot with the other brands yesterday, and I mean, generally everybody is excited about what Tim is about to do and his level of experience. Johnny, what was most catching for you throughout that segment?
Hey, Jack, I think this will be the same for us, man. Between the interview with John, between the interview with Tim, and we talked about this on previous shows, man, there's this one factor within the cigar industry that I think is the most organic, and that's the story behind the cigar. All right? Had Tim not told us that story when that box got to Dapper D's, when that box got to Kingsley, or when that box got to any other retailer, whatever the retailer may be, we would not have known. All right? So when we're smoking that cigar and we understand the story behind the cigar, we understand why he got back in the game, the different factors that are incorporated in the blend, in the box presentation. We talked about this on many episodes before, but it gives us a great appreciation, man. I mean, I was sitting back here just listening, just smiling, because this is one thing within the cigar industry, and I think that's why anybody that's at PCA right now, whether you're a manufacturer, whether you're just a common smoker, whether you're a shop owner, we have this one factor, and this is this genuine brotherly, sisterly love, this family factor, you know, this lineage factor that we just all appreciate and love. And I think that's what that, like we always say, which differentiates the cigar industry from any other industry in the world. Any other industry in the world. Tim said it best. And I break this analogy up a little bit more, Jack. I use the analogy like, you know, when we're smoking in the shop, you can have the multimillionaire, you can have the multimillionaire's landscape. They never met a day in their life, but somehow over a cigar, they spark a conversation in the local shop. And before you know it, they're having a conversation to get to know each other over the leaf. Over the leaf, man. And I mean, both stories share the same factor, the same commonality, man. And I think that's the biggest thing that stuck out to me. You know, apart from the blends, which we all love, apart from Tim coming back into the game, which we're all so excited about, but it's the story behind, it's the why. Man, I even Googled the book that he mentioned, man, and I'm going to purchase it on Amazon. I'm going to purchase it. I got it in my cart right now, Jack.
Hey, one thing I love about PCA is not only does it put a name to the face, put a face to the name, or whatever, however it is. I think y'all understand what I'm saying. But it's the genuinity,
yes,
that you get when you actually sit down with these people, right?
Yes.
So many people sit down and have some of the most nonchalant small talk, and I talked about this with Steve Sacco on our segment. Is some of the most nonchalant talking that you could possibly have happens during these small interactions, instead of sitting down and just actually like, yo, thank you. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, what you're doing is amazing. And they need to be boast and brag about too.
Absolutely.
Right? The consumers, I mean, we know this. The cigar industry is like the Philadelphia Eagle fans. They're some of the most hardest to please dudes and women in the industry. You get one fucking bad cigar. Oh, that cigar is disgusting. Johnny, we had the same talk.
Absolutely.
About the farm, the FSG.
Yes.
It
was a 20-acre.
Yeah, the 20-acre. And you was like, Jack, this shit is terrible. But guess what? Guess what you did, Johnny?
Yeah.
You got it. You got another one. You smoked it. And you was like, man, maybe my palate was off that day.
Absolutely, because that motherfucker is in rotation.
Bro, it's in rotation. And I think, again, we're some of the hardest people to please. And, Tim explaining that story was magnificent, because right now we're in an industry right now where everybody wants to know the story.
Yes.
And as he breaks down the cigar, the artwork that goes into that cigar box, it was like, wow. You know what I mean? Like, wow.
I was in awe. I was sitting here like in awe, man, like mouth dropped, like just really learning. And then, like I said, appreciating. It's like the why behind it. The why behind it, man. I mean, oh my God.
The why is what matters. The why is what allows people to really feel one with, what is being said and all of that good stuff, man.
And it allows people to. No, you're fine. I think it allows people to become a part of the story. Like when I'm smoking something, when I'm drinking something, anything we experience in life, when I have the ability to share with you that experience, and it may not be the same, but it may be something similar. I can put myself in those shoes and allow myself to experience something similar. When I'm smoking that cigar, in some strange way, the cigar tastes better, it smokes better. I'm able to sit back and relax. Like Tim said, that pause X as I'm smoking, as his father explained to him, man, we're able to relax and conversate and really enjoy what we're experiencing.
And I think that's why I love our dynamic more than anything. And not to boast and brag on us, but you have two people that genuinely love the cigar industry, right?
Wow,
you have two people, like we don't get paid to do this every Sunday. No. We come on and do this out of the passion and our willingness to really further and educate our consumers. We had a really big win over this last week with striking down of the regulation against premium tobacco. Right now, we're still fighting the fight against
flavored tobaccos, but this is just a good way. But you're talking about two young men that are babies in this industry, right?
Yes.
That have a genuine love for this industry, and it is proving day after day after day after day. And it's also proven with our consumers. Hey, Rodney,
Absolutely.
I'm sorry I did not see your message. Does the family still have some of the creative inputs? No, they bought all. CAO was fully bought out by STG, and if it was something that was created part of the acquisition, they don't have any in there. Johnny, what's some things that you want to talk about, man?
I mean, pretty much, you guys covered. Like I said, I'm not there at PCA, man. You guys covered. I mean, the interviews were incredible, man. The interviews were absolutely incredible. I think one of the biggest things, I'm excited to see these cigars touch down at Dapper D's and other local retailers, so the consumer part of the cigar industry can experience these blends, and then it can rewatch these episodes, like Virtual Smoke Deck, while they're smoking these cigars, and they can say, "Hey, man, this is what Tim was talking about when he was blending this cigar. This is what," and then not only they can experience Jack, but they can educate others within their local shops. Because, like we said, a lot of these guys, they're going to smoke these cigars, and grant you, they're going to enjoy it, but they won't know the story behind it, apart from episodes like the Virtual Smoke Deck.
Yes, and that is 120,000% true.
Yeah.
There's one more cigar that I want to talk about and highlight. Caldwell is coming out with something called the Edit Stages, highly anticipated. We're talking, I think it's $15 to $21 a stick.
Yeah.
If you can get your hands on this stick, and I said if, because it's a limited run, never going to be seen again from what Robert told us yesterday. This cigar is hands down freaking amazing, and it's definitely one that you need to put in rotation once you see it comes out. The cigar is just, construction wise, is just really well put together, well rounded, and it's something to a true testament to what Robert does. And Robert only makes the good shit, not the bullshit,
Not the bull,
and not the bullshit, man. So, hey, man, Johnny, what an amazing show, brother.
Absolutely.
What an amazing show. I want you to give us our words of wisdom for this week.
Hey, listen, I'm gonna steal. Tim says something based on the book that he mentioned during his interview. The gym for the week, and I guess is a gym, is Virtual Smoke Deck audience. Whatever you're doing, whatever it is in life, I don't give a fuck if you work on cars, if you work at a local brick and mortar. I don't give a damn if you're a millionaire. The gym of the week is, what is your why? Identify your why. Identify your why. That's the gym of the week. Identify your why, man.
And really, that's more of a lesson of the week, because I talked about this.
Absolutely.
I talked about this morning on my post. And I know you're in Facebook jail, so you didn't get to see
it.
I
couldn't call. I saw it, but I couldn't call him, man. I wanted to, man.
So many people have this notion that business is for everybody and entrepreneurship is for everybody. But if that was the case, who will make cars?
Yes.
Who will build houses? Who will pick up the trash? I mean, whatever it is, you got to understand your why, and it has to be a deeper connection to it, right?
Absolutely.
Cigars it is not easy to make a shit ton of money or make a lot of money, period, with one store.
And I was gonna say, money ain't it.
Money is not it, but I really feel like people think that, and even these guys that are manufacturers, you're talking 30,000 cigar commitments.
Yeah.
Prior to even getting a box sold. So just think about, what it is that you're doing on a day-to-day basis and say, am I really happy? And that was the one reason I got out the military, was I was no longer happy. But you got to be happy on what you're doing, and you have to understand the why. And Johnny, I think that's hands down one of the best things that we can ask from our viewership. And shoot, challenge somebody else. Ask
Absolutely.
them, what is your why?
What is your why?
What is your why? Man, I mean, this segment has been the first for me. I've never done a live interview in person. I mean, you're talking about just so many emotions I have, you know.
Yo, listen.
Yeah. You know, after these type of interviews, it's not really much you add on to that. Like,
you leave incredibly inspired, man.
This is the part where if this is the Breakfast Club, they'll go ahead and start, you know, doing the DJ hour, you know, where they don't have to say nothing else because there's nothing else that you can come back to from that, man.
Hey, listen, you know, back in the day, listen, I grew up in like a deep Pentecostal church, right? And back in the day, the pastor would say, chew the meat and spit out the bone. And we got a whole lot of meat in this hour and some change you just chew on, yo.
A lot of meat.
A lot, man.
A lot of meat. Well, Virtual Smoke Deck, y'all know what it is, man. We are the Virtual Smoke Deck. I'm Jack the Cigar Enthusiast.
I'm Johnny the Cigar Banker.
And we are the Virtual Smoke Deck. Until next time, we'll see you guys next week. We got some great shows lined up for you guys in the near future. We got George coming on.
Yeah.
We got Orlando coming on.
Let's go.
We got Nick Perdomo coming on.
My God.
Hey, hey, bro. Hey, now I want you guys. I need you guys to make sure this happens.
Oh,
George Padron does not do interviews.
Yeah.
So when he does an interview on the Virtual Smoke Deck, I need y'all to show up and show the hell out.
That's it.
You got to show up and show the hell out, man. Until next time, if you're watching from Facebook, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Like and follow button on Facebook under the Virtual Smoke Deck. If you're watching from YouTube, go ahead and hit that like button, follow button, everything. Go follow our sponsor, DapperDCigars.com, and Dapper D Cigars on Facebook and IG. Man, great segment, great show. We love you guys. We'll see you guys next week. Until next time, we are the Virtual Smoke Deck.